Good morning everyone, let us start. Today we shall discuss about degradation and conservation of soils in India, and this will be the last lesson for the academic session 2020-21. Now I shall present my screen. So now let us read soil degradation in India. What are the different causes? What are the causes for degrading soils in India? Let us read. In about the meaning, it is given here. In a broad sense, soil degradation can be defined as the decline in soil fertility when the nutritional status declines and depth of the soil goes down due to erosion and misuse. Okay, so soil degradation means decline in the soil fertility when nutritional status declines and the depth of the soil, that is the thickness of the soil, goes down due to erosion and misuse by the human beings. So soil degradation is the main factor leading to the depleting soil resource base in India. The degree of soil degradation varies from place to place according to the topography, then wind velocity and amount of rainfall. Okay, so these are the factors affecting the soil degradation. Okay, topography, speed of the wind, then amount rainfall. So because of these factors, soil degradation varies from place to place in India. Now let us see one map here. This map shows soil degradation in India, that is about erosion rates in India. And so let us see the index. Just see here, this set represents shifting cultivation. Okay, degradation of soil caused by shifting cultivation, and the rate of degradation or the rate of erosion is here in this case less than 40 tons per hectare per year. Okay, 40 tons of soil materials per hectare of land per year. So let us see. Here we find here in this area, okay, in the northeast area, here in this area also we find degradation of soils due to shifting cultivation. Okay, and likewise in other part of India also we find it here also. Okay, and likewise see this side, this one shows severe wind erosion. So here we find mainly in the western part of this Rajasthan. Here the degradation of soil is caused by wind erosion. Okay, and likewise here next we have this moderate wind erosion, and again this is also found in the middle part of Rajasthan here. Okay, so this black set shows ravines. Okay, ravine, that is badlands. Here we mainly find in the Chambal area. Okay, this is Chambal basin, Chambal badland. In this area we have these ravines, badlands. Okay, so in this way we can read this map. Next we have soil erosion. About the meaning of soil erosion, the destruction of soil cover is described as soil erosion. Okay, the destruction of soil cover. The topmost layer of the crust is described as soil erosion. The soil forming processes and the erosion processes of running water and wind go on simultaneously. Okay, see, soil is formed as well as this degraded simultaneously, okay, by various agents of this nature, okay, by various geometric agents. Okay, let me repeat. Soil is formed as well as degraded simultaneously at the same time, okay, but generally there is a balance between the two processes. That is, two processes here means soil forming processes and the erosional processes. Both are natural processes, okay. Soil erosion process and the soil forming processes goes on side by side, and there is a balance between these two processes. The rate of removal of fine particles from the surface is the same as the rate of addition of particles the soil layer. That is, the rate of erosion is the same with the rate of soil formation naturally, okay. However, such balance is disturbed by the natural or human factors, leading to a greater rate of removal of the soil. Due to human factors or sometimes by the natural factors, the rate of erosion is greater than the rate of soil formation. And so in this case, there will be soil erosion or soil degradation. Okay. Now let us read what are the different causes, okay, for the degradation of soils in India. Human activities are responsible for soil erosion to a great extent. Okay, the number one reason for soil erosion or soil degradation is the human activities. Okay, human activities are responsible for soil erosion to a great extent. You know, a human population increases. Okay, as the human population increases, the demand on the land also increases. Forests and other natural vegetation is removed for human settlement, for cultivation, for grazing animals, and for other various needs. Okay. So when this vegetative cover is removed, then there will be erosion, okay, and there will be soil degradation. Since the surface is left without these trees and the grasses, these various agents like rainwater, then running water, glacier, and wind can easily erode the land, and hence erosion of the soil is taken place. Okay. So wind and water are powerful agents of soil erosion because of their ability to remove soil and transport it. Running water can erode and transport soil materials. Likewise, wind also can remove and transport the soil materials, and hence wind and water are powerful agents of soil erosion. So wind erosion is significant in arid and semi-arid regions. Okay, in the desert and semi-desert areas, wind erosion is significant. In regions with heavy rainfall and steep slopes, erosion by running water is more significant. Okay, so in the rainier areas and in the mountainous areas, erosion by running water is more prominent. And in case of India, water erosion, which is more serious and occurs extensively in different parts of India, takes place mainly in the form of sheet and gully erosion. Okay, so in case of India, water erosion is more serious, more widespread. Okay, and this water erosion can be taken place mainly in the form of sheet erosion and gully erosion. So these are the two types of soil erosion: sheet erosion and gully erosion. So sheet erosion takes place when the level lands after a heavy shower and the soil removed is not easily noticeable. Okay, so in case of soil sheet erosion, the removal of soil is not easily noticeable, and it is taken place after a heavy shower, but it is harmful since it removes the finer and the more fertile topsoil. Okay, so let me show you some photographs. Here this is an example of sheet erosion. Here the soil cover is totally removed, okay, by the rainwater. So this is an example of sheet erosion. And we have one more. Actually, this is also a kind of sheet erosion with rills. Okay, here you may be seeing rills. So these are the rills, and the whole surface is also removed by the running water. And this is also an example of this sheet erosion. And next we have one more photograph. Okay, so this is also a photograph showing sheet erosion, severe sheet erosion. Here the whole surface is removed by the running water. Okay, next we have gully erosion. Gully erosion is common on steep slopes. Gully erosion is common in the hilly areas. Okay, and gullies deepen with rainfall, cut the agricultural lands into small fragments and make them unfit for cultivation. Okay, as you see here, this photograph shows this gully erosion, and we have these photographs also. See, this photograph also shows gully erosion. See here, gullies are met by the running water and thus destroying the agricultural field. Okay, and a region with large number of deep gullies or ravines is called a badland topography. Okay, so in a region, if you find a lot of gullies, very deep gullies or ravines, that landscape is known as a badland topography. Okay, ravines are widespread in the Chambal basin, in the Chambal river basin. And beside this, they are also found in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Okay, the country is losing about 8,000 hectares of land to ravines every year. Okay, so let us see a photograph of the Chambal badland. Okay, as I see here, this is a photograph showing Chambal badlands or Chambal ravines. Okay, here the land cannot be used for any other purposes. Okay, maybe for agriculture or for settlement, the land cannot be used. So this is the Chambal badland. And we have one more photograph. This is another photograph showing Chambal ravines. Okay, so in this way, land is degraded due to erosion processes. Okay, so soil erosion is a serious problem for Indian agriculture, and its negative effects are seen in other spheres also. You know, Indian agriculture, this economy is mainly dependent on agriculture, and that is why soil erosion is a serious concern. Okay, and because it also affects the others, the sectors of economy. Okay, some of the industries are dependent on agriculture, and when soil is affected, then agriculture is affected, and hence industries are also affected. Okay, Eroded materials are carried down to rivers and they lower down their carrying capacity and cause the flood and damage the agricultural land. Okay, and deforestation is one of the major causes of soil erosion. And plants, importance of forests you have learned. Okay, plants keep soils bound in locks of roots and thus prevent erosion. And these plants also add humus to the soil by shedding leaves and twigs. Okay, but forests have been denuded practically in most part of India, but their effect on the soil are more in hilly part of the country. Since forests have been cleared, okay, in the mountainous area, then the surface remain bare, and because of that, these slopes of the mountain have been denuded. That means have been eroded, and hence degradation taken place. Okay, and that is why deforestation, cutting down of trees on large scale, is the major cause of soil erosion in India. Okay, a fairly large area of arable land in the irrigated zones of India is becoming saline because of over irrigation. That means over irrigation is another cause for soil degradation in India. Okay, the first important cause for soil degradation is deforestation. The second important cause is the over irrigation. So due to over irrigation, a large arable land, a large cultivated land in India, okay, has been becoming this saline. Okay, the soil lodged in the lower profiles of the soil comes up to the surface and destroys its fertility. So due to capillary action, okay, the soils from the this B horizon and C horizon comes up on the surface and deposited, okay, on the surface. As I explained you earlier in the previous classes, okay, just see here, this is the topmost layer, and here in the this B or C horizon, so here let us say some salts are present, and water from the underground, okay, rises upward due to capillary action, and this water will dissolve these salts and will carry it upward on the surface, and due to the bright sunshine, the water will be evaporated and the crystals of salt will remain on the surface, and thus the soil becomes saline. Okay, so this is also occurred in these highly irrigated areas of India. Okay, then another cause for soil degradation is the use of chemical fertilizers. Okay, use of chemical fertilizer in the absence of organic manures are also harmful to the soil. Unless the soils get enough humus, chemicals harden it and reduce its fertility in the long run. Okay, if we don't use this organic matter, okay, then the chemical fertilizer used in the soil, used in the cultivation process, will harden the soil, and in the long run the fertility of the soil will be reduced. And that is why it is said that the use of chemical fertilizer in the agriculture field is another cause for soil degradation. Okay, and such type of this problem is common in all the common areas of the river valley projects where the first beneficiaries of green revolution, okay, for example Punjab, Haryana area and western Uttar Pradesh. So in these areas green revolution was started, and green revolution uses a lot of chemical fertilizer, biochemical inputs and irrigation. So in such areas the soil degradation is taken place. Okay, So every year, India loses millions of tons of soil and its nutrients to the agents of its degradation. Means running water, wind, glacier, and other agents, which adversely affect our natural productivity. So it is imperative to initiate immediate steps to reclaim and conserve soils. That is why we need the reclamation and we need the conservation of soils in India. Okay, so before we start conservation of soils in India, do you have questions? Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let us continue. So if soil erosion and exhaustion are caused by humans, by corollary, they can also be prevented by the human beings. So in the above this discussion, we have learned that in case of India, soil erosion is mainly caused by the human activities. And since soil erosion is caused by the human activities, it also can be solved by the human beings. Okay. Nature has its own laws of maintaining balance. Nature offers enough opportunities for humans to develop their economy without disturbing the ecological balance. And about the meaning of soil conservation, it is given here. Soil conservation is a methodology to maintain the soil fertility, prevent soil erosion and exhaustion, and improve the degraded condition of the soil. Okay, soil conservation is a technique to maintain soil fertility, prevent soil erosion and exhaustion, and improve the degraded condition of the soil. Now let us read what are the different methods of conserving the soil in India. Okay, so the first step in any rational solution to sack open cultivated land on the slopes of farming. So the first important step, okay, to sack soil erosion is to control, okay, open cultivation on sloping lanes. Okay, the first step to sack soil erosion is to stop farming on the steep slope lands. Okay, and the lanes with a slope gradients of 15 to 20% should not be used for cultivation. That means on the steep slope lands we should not cultivate. Okay, if all the lands is to be used for agriculture, however, I say in some mountainous states we have to use the mountains for cultivation. So in this case, what to do? We have to do this terracing. Okay, if all the lands is to be used for agriculture, terrace should be carefully mat, as you are seeing here. Okay, as see here. If we have to cultivate on the slopes of the mountain, we have to make terracing. That is, terrace farming should be done so that the erosion of the soils can be checked. Okay, see here, terraces. These are terraces. Just see here, this is what we call terraces. Okay, this is terracing, and here we may give buns. Okay, then overgrazing and shifting cultivation in many parts of India have affected natural cover land and give rise to extensive erosion, and that is why overgrazing and shifting cultivation should be regulated and controlled by educating villagers about the consequences. We must educate the villagers about the consequences of overgrazing and shifting cultivation, because in many parts of India, because of overgrazing and shifting cultivation, okay, many lands have been degraded. And see here, other steps to conserve soil erosion, soil degradation are contour bunding, then contour terracing, regulated forestry, controlled grazing, cover cropping, mixed farming, then crop rotation. So these are some remedial measures which are often adopted to reduce soil erosion. Okay, contour bunding, just see here, we have this photograph. Actually, contour bunding and the contour terracing go side by side. Here, the whole slope of the mountain, the whole slope of the mountain is terracing, is terraced. And see, these are the bunds, so we have to make bunds here like this, and this is what we call contour bunding. So these are the bunds. So if we make bunds like this, then when there is rainfall, then running down of water at high speed will be checked. So in this way we have to do this contour bunding. Remember, contour bunding and the contour terracing are associated with each other. First we have to do this terracing like this, and after that we have to make these bunds. And regulated forestry, about it we have learned earlier. We can do this social forestry like urban forestry, then rural forestry. Different types of forestries are there that can be practiced. Then controlled grazing. How to do controlled grazing? See, this is for example, this is a pasture, this is a grassland. So this grassland we have to divide it into different sections like this. And here we have to do fencing using barbed wires. And so this is the first compartment, so we can graze our animals here in the first compartment. Then after a week, then we can do grazing here in the next compartment. So in this way we have to do grazing rotationally. First we have to open this compartment, then after a week this compartment, then again the third compartment, the fourth compartment. And when the animals are grazing in this compartment, here we can grow the grasses, or the grasses will be grown naturally. This is known as what we call controlled grazing. And here we have a photograph also showing this. See here, just you are seeing barbed wires here. Like this we have to do fencing, and here the animals are controlled from the overgrazing. And then other methods are there. Cover cropping. This we have to cover the slopes with grasses and the crops so that erosion can be sacked. Then mixed farming, that is rearing the animals side by side with the cultivation of crops. The cow dung, the animals excreta can be used as a manure in the field. Thus the degradation of the soil may be checked after the application of manures. Then crop rotation can be done. So these are the different measures to reduce soil erosion or to reduce soil conservation in India. Then another step is efforts should be made to prevent gully erosion and control their formation. And finger gullies can be eliminated by terracing. So to sack the gully erosion or the finger gully, the smaller one, we can do terracing of the slopes. And in bigger gullies, the erosive capacity of the water be reduced by constructing a series of check dams. Just see here. This is a photograph showing a check dam. See here. This is a check dam, and by constructing a series of check dams, we can control this development of these bigger gullies. Okay, here this is another photograph showing check dams, and if we construct such type of small dams, then gully erosion, okay, may be checked, and special attention should be made to control headward erosion of gullies, that is extension of gullies. Okay, and this can be done by gully plugging, then terracing, or by planting cover vegetation. And in the arid and the semi-arid areas, efforts should be made to protect cultivable lands from encroachment by sand dunes through developing shelter belts of trees and agroforestry. So in the desert and the semi-desert areas, okay, extension of sand dunes can be sacked by developing these shelter belts. Say for example, here this side is a desert area. Here we have sand dunes. So these are the different sand dunes, let us say. Here these are the different sand dunes. And extension of this sand dune towards this side may be sacked if we grow a row of trees like this. Okay, if we grow trees in rows, this is what we call the shelter belts. Okay, and these shelter belts will prevent the extension of sand dunes towards this side. So this should be done in the desert and the semi-desert areas. And another method is the agroforestry. Okay, about agroforestry we have discussed earlier. Okay, that is the growing of trees, okay, with this growing of the crop, means growing of crops and growing of trees are done together. Okay, at the same time this timber is also harvested just like the crops. Land not suitable for cultivation should be converted into pastures for grazing. The land which cannot be used for cultivation must be converted as a grassland for grazing the animals. This is another method. Okay, experiments have been made to stabilize the sand dunes in western Rajasthan by the Central Arid Zone Research Institute, CAZRI. Okay, the Central Soil Conservation Board set up by the government in India has prepared a number of plans for soil conservation in different parts of the country. These plans are based on the climatic conditions, then configuration of the land, that is the landform, then the social behavior of the people. Even these plans are fragmented in nature, that means cannot be implemented properly. Okay, so integrated land use plannings therefore seems to be the best technique for proper soil conservation. Okay, so for proper soil conservation we need integrated land use planning, like river catchment area planning, for example, watershed development planning. Such type of integrated land use planning should be done to set soil erosion. Okay, and another method is that land should be classified according to their capability. Land use maps should be prepared and the land should be put into the right use. Okay, see, like this. See, for example, we have this here. This is an example of this land use land cover map. Okay, so like this, we have to prepare land use land cover map, and the land must be put under right use. Say, for example, see, let us see the reasons. Okay, see, red represents urban build-up land, then rural build-up lands, then mining in the industrial areas, as you see here. Okay, you see your mining in the industrial areas. Crop land, here we have crop land, for example, then agriculture, plantation, then aquaculture. Okay, just see here, aquaculture, then forest land, just forest land. Okay, forest plantation, then mangrove, wasteland, waterlogged areas, reservoir tanks, then canals. Okay, river streams. So in this way we have to prepare land use land cover map, and the land must be put under right use, as mentioned here. Okay, should be put to right uses. So this is a land use land cover map for the state of Andhra Pradesh, and likewise we can also prepare a land use land cover map like this for the whole India. Okay, like this is just an example. Okay, so we have to prepare a land use land cover map for the whole India, and all the land must be put under right use. And if we are doing like this, then the degradation of soils can be checked. Okay. The final responsibility for achieving the conservation of land will rest upon the people who operate on it and receive the benefit. That means without people's participation, okay, conservation of soil is not possible, because it is the people who are using the resources, who are using the soil for cultivation. And if we educate the people, then the conservation of soil will be a successful one. Okay, so are you clear? Any question from you?
No, sir.
Okay, then let us stop here for today. Thank you very much for joining my class.